just go out and just do, bring life back to our riding city, as it were.
Tan, what was that experience like for you?
It was excellent. Yeah, I think I went really slow. Congratulations, and really much looking forward to continuing sport for that. Thank you.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Legion of Racers Asia Championship. My name is Hong and with me tonight...
And I'm Javier and we are back for rounds 3 and 4 of the LOR Asia Championship 2022 presented by Tarmac Works.
Now, we unfortunately had some technical difficulties during last week's round 2 and we believe those issues have already been ironed out. Now, to be honest, it's not very different from getting a torrential thunderstorm in real life during race weekend. Having said that, on behalf of the entire team here at the Legion of Racers, we do apologize for any inconveniences. Now, this season's Asia Championship will be split into 5 rounds, and with round 1 successfully completed, later tonight we will be continuing on with rounds 3 and rounds 4. Round 2, which was cancelled and postponed rather, will be brought forward to next Thursday right before the round 5 grand finale. So, Javier, where will the drivers be competing tonight?
Well, tonight we are heading to Spa-Francorchamps for round 3 and Zandvoort for round 4.
Now, both are really exciting circuits with very different driving styles needed for both different circuits. Now, before we move on to more details for round 3, let's take a first look at the current standings.
So we have Russell Reyes currently leading the championship. So we have the top 3 drivers leading the championship, all from JMX Phantom. We saw Russell Reyes having a dominant performance in Laguna Seca, followed by Presley Martono in P2 and Dafa Nabil in P3. So tonight we will see if JMX Phantom will be able to extend their championship lead. In P4 we have Muhammad Irfan, and P5 Chua Sing Han, who is the first Singaporean here in the top 5.
That's right. Now in 6th position for the pro standings we have Ilham Shak, who's representing Indonesia. In 7th place Rian, 8th place Dafa, 9th place Enzo, and in 10th position for the pro standings thus far we have Darren. And now moving on to the M category. In 1st position we do have Alan Drake Cruz from the Philippines and his fellow Filipino race driver friend Aldo Balagulan in 2nd position. Mike in 3rd, Taufik in 4th, and Freddie in 5th.
And in P6 we have Bobby Susanto from Auto Clutch ID, followed by Damien Lowe in P7, Gerald Lim in P8, Abian Deri in P9, and in P10 we have Mazdi Mardini to finish up our top 10 in the M standings.
Now, for those of you who have just joined us, once again, a very warm welcome back to the Legion of Racers Asia Championship. Tonight, we will see round 3 and round 4. Now, this season is brought to you by our title sponsor, Tarmac Works, as well as our supporting partners, Logitech, TikTok, Prism Plus, Aftershock Computers.
And of course, not to forget, Motul, Monster Energy, Next Level Racing, Nitro, Picnic, and of course, Bayer Dynamic.
Now, our title sponsor, Tarmac Works, will be creating limited edition t-shirts and model cars based on this moon-equipped Tarmac Works black and white livery you see right here. Now, this current livery is being driven by Arwin, and that's because he had the fastest qualifying time during the qualifiers. So, Javier, what did you think about Arwin's performance during round 1 and the overall competition thus far?
I think Arwin got really unlucky at the start of the race in Laguna Seca. He did qualify in a really good position, but I think because he was somewhere in the mid-pack, he got caught out in a bit of traffic and there was a little bit of chaos at the back. But well, it was a phenomenal performance by JMX Phantom. I think they were the big talking point of last week's race in Laguna Seca.
Yep,
absolutely dominating.
Yeah, it was fantastic driving from these top-level drivers. Now we are expecting the same quality of driving in tonight's round 3 and round 4. Now for this entire season, all the drivers will be competing in the Nissan GT-R GT3, both the AM category and the Pro category, which makes it a one-make race. Now drivers will be permitted to make changes to their setup and to fine-tune their cars to suit their driving preferences and the circuit that they're on. Javier, you are a professional sim athlete, or rather an esports athlete. So how important is sim tuning, or rather fine-tuning, and all these setups for the drivers?
Tonight it is especially more important to get your setup right, because all of these drivers will be driving the same car. It is a one-make race. All of these drivers will be driving the Nissan GT-R GT3 car.
Right.
So the only difference here is your skill and of course your setup. So let's say for the first track that we're going to, which is Spa-Francorchamps, and round 4 in Zandvoort, these two have two completely different setup changes that you want to make. One is very high speed, one is very high downforce. So setup is definitely very important.
Well, you just said this very challenging and exciting circuit. Why don't we take a closer look at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit?
That's right, this track is 7 kilometers long. It has a total of 20 turns. It is one of the longest tracks in the calendar and in ACC. So we are definitely going to be seeing a lot of action. It is very long, very wide, lots of room for overtaking, many corners for you to make your moves. So I think we will be seeing a lot of action tonight.
In fact, we're going to see it really soon, because the race officials have just informed us that the free practice session is over and we're moving on now, right here, to the qualifying session. Now, a little slight tweak as compared to last week's round. Qualifying session is no longer 8 minutes. As you can see on the clock right now, there's 9 minutes and 12 seconds to go. Qualifying session for round 3, 4 and 5 have been extended to 10 minutes.
That's right, rightfully so. This is one of the longest tracks on the calendar. It is actually one of the longest tracks in Formula 1 as well, actually. In today's standards of regulations for the tracks, right? It is stated that tracks should not be more than 7 kilometers long, and Spa is just slightly over there.
Right.
So they did make an exception for this track, but you know, it depends on how you measure the track, right? Are you measuring the inside line? Are you measuring the outside? You know, so it's a bit to play around with when you measure circuits like this, or maybe do they measure it on the racing line? I'm not so sure, but it is 7 kilometers long.
No, absolutely, and in my opinion, this is indeed one of the most legendary circuits in the world. I mean, top of my head, there are 3 circuits that I think fall into the legendary category. That's obviously the Nürburgring, and of course Spa being one of them as well. But okay, let's take a look at our drivers right now. We're not able to see the full list. We have more than 40 drivers competing in tonight's race. 45 were able to qualify globally, and we have drivers all around the world, from Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia, I think as far away as
the UK
and Netherlands as well.
We've got some drivers from Brazil as well.
Oh right, yes, absolutely.
No, Brunei, sorry, in Brazil.
Brunei, yes.
Confused Brunei and Brazil there. So you can see all of these drivers are just queuing up behind each other. They want to make some space between each other. I think they are a little bit too close. They are slowing down to try and make that space.
Right.
Because you do not want to get behind traffic if you are on a fast lap.
That's correct. And this is also a very important place, because this is right before the final the first turn rather. And so the drivers do want to bring in as much speed as they can carry from the very start of their flying lap, which I believe would be this lap. This should be the flying lap for all the drivers having completed their out lap in the first 3 minutes of this 10-minute qualifying session.
So of course we are watching Arvind Taruna here piloting the Moon-equipped Tarmac Works livery, and of course he does have the opportunity to drive that because he was the fastest qualifier in the qualifiers. And of course we have Alan Drake Cruz as well. He was another big talking point in last week's race at Laguna Seca. He is in the M category, but he was, you know, in the mix with the pro drivers up in front. So he is only 10 years old. So I think there is a lot going for him to be picked up by JMX to be part of their junior team. So of course, looking at, you know, the results from last week, I think he showed a lot of potential. And of course, being at only 10 years old and showing such great pace, I think he is one to look out for in the next few years, actually. Absolutely,
and it's a long esports career ahead for him, I believe. Now, talking about nations, we do have the standings for the Nations Cup, and currently right now leading the pack in all sense of the word is the Philippines, followed by Indonesia and Singapore in third. So these are the Nations Cup standings. If you guys are interested to find out more, do follow us, or rather do find us on our socials. That includes Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And if you're watching this live, thank you so much for joining us. This is the 2022 Legion of Racers Asia Championship Round 3, and we are at Spa. So, okay, on screen right now we have Bobby Susanto from Auto Clutch ID. I believe that's, let me see, that is the M category. He is racing in car number 28. Okay, moving up over to Presley Mortano from JMX Phantom, who's currently clocked the second fastest lap time for this qualifying session. They're at the halfway point. It's a 10-minute qualifying session, and we're halfway there.
And not surprisingly, we are seeing some very familiar names up front. We have, once again, Russell Reyes leading the pack, followed by Presley Martono. It almost is a recreation of the first round, actually. We've got Russell Reyes in P1, Presley Martono in P2. We did have Dafa Nabil in P3 as well in that previous round in Laguna Seca. But of course, so far it is Alan Drake Cruz, the 10-year-old from JMX Juniors, in P3 so far. So actually, technically, it is still a JMX 1, 2, 3 because Alan Drake Cruz is part of the JMX Junior team.
That's correct. Now, as you mentioned earlier, 10 years old in the JMX Junior team, but currently for this qualifying session so far, right up there in top 3 overall, and he's in the M category. That is extremely impressive driving from the young 10-year-old.
That's right. So for those of you who are new here, you can differentiate between the Pro and M drivers by looking at the colors of the numbers that you see on the timing board here. The white background is the Pro drivers, and the red background are the M drivers. So, you know, Alan Cruz really on another league of his own in the M category. He is currently the leading M class car, followed by Denaldi in P2, but P11 overall. So there is a huge gap between P1 and P2 in the M category.
Now we are looking at car number, or rather position number 5, car number 11, and that is Fikri Sajia. It's quite interesting because it seems like he is trying to clock a fast lap, but there is a little bit of traffic ahead of him, not too near, so he may be able to get away with it. Whether he's catching on any slipstream or if it's any dirty air that will affect his time, we should be finding out momentarily as he comes on to the last few corners of this circuit, this magnificent circuit, I might add.
So I'm wondering if team tactics will be at play here, especially at the first sector, to try and get your teammate a time as fast as possible. But of course, you want to think about yourself as well to be able to set a fast lap time of your own. But you know, if you can get a really strong slipstream through the first sector where it's mostly straights, of course you go down into Eau Rouge and up to Rydellon, that entire first sector is very high speed. So if you can get the slipstream from the car ahead, you could probably gain about 3/10.
That's right. Now we are looking at Arvind Taruna in that iconic, or very soon to be iconic, Moon-equipped Tarmac Works black and white livery GTR GT3. Now he has just clocked himself a 1 minute 18.3 second lap time, I believe, for this qualifying session. 2 minutes to go till the end of this qualifying session. That puts him into 4th position, 9/10 of a second behind Russell Reyes, who's currently still leading the entire qualifying pack.
So once again, this livery that you are looking at right here is the Moon-equipped Tarmac Works livery. It is a livery inspired by Jim Dunn Racing's and Moon Eye's collaboration funny car, which is just another way of calling a drag racing vehicle.
Right.
In the end, Nationals and Moon Eyes, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is a Japanese custom cars and motorcycle parts and accessory shop inspired by the Southern Californian lifestyle.
That's right, but right now the drivers will not be thinking about the Southern Californian weather. They will be thinking about what kind of temperatures the track has here at Spa-Francorchamps, and track temperature is a nice and cool 30 degrees Celsius. That's a pretty warm pretty good track temperature, I might add, for those tires that they will be running. And it seems like we're down to the final minute of this qualifying session. Javier, any predictions?
Wow, Russell Reyes setting a really strong lap time here of a 2:16.8. The closest car behind is Presley Martono once again. He's 3/10 behind, but behind is Dafa, 8/10 behind the leader. So the timings are relatively still quite spaced out for a qualifying session. If the qualifying session was a little bit longer, I think we would see some even closer timings. But so far, all the way up till 9th position, all the cars are within 2 seconds of each other. So there is still a lot to play for with 16 seconds remaining. Any of the cars that are crossing the line now will still be able to get their lap times in, but anybody who crosses the line after the time has finished, they will not be able to set another lap time. So that's why the time has just gone down to 0. So any cars that are crossing the line now will not be able to set another lap time. I'm not sure if Arvind Daruna has, because I think he should have already been able to cross the line. Yes, that's right. He is on his last lap and he has just gone off, which is quite unfortunate. I think he has bailed on his last lap.
Right. Okay, so let's take a look at the current standings, current time as well. We can see from the lap times that Russell Reyes is really impressive performance. You got purple, 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 green. That basically means he is the fastest in all 3 sectors of the circuit, and therefore also clocked the fastest lap time for this qualifying session. If we zoom in much closer to those sectors, sector timings rather, for all the drivers, then we're going to quickly realize that if he is able to maintain those sector by sector lap times, then it is going to be an amazing race coming up shortly.
That's right. So before we get on to the race, we will be going for a short break. So we will see you in a few moments' time.
See you guys soon.
Just go out and just do, bring life back to our lives here as well.
What was that experience like for you?
It was excellent. Yeah, I think I went really slow. Congratulations, and really much looking forward to continue to spot your efforts. Thank you.
round 4 of the TCL GT World Challenge Asia Esports Championship presented by Tarmac Works is set to get underway. There is Luis Moreno. He blasts back onto the racetrack.
Once again, welcome to the Legion of Racers Asia Championship. We are at round 3 in Belgium at Spa, Francorchamps, and we are only 1 minute and 47 seconds away from the start.
That's right, so let's quickly run through the grid here. We have Russell Reyes leading the pack going into this race. Presley Martonu in P2, Dafa Nabil in P3, literally a recreation of Laguna Seca, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, GMX Phantom have proven themselves to be not only worthy, but keyword being consistent with not just their qualifying, but also their race pace. In fact, you brought up a very interesting question earlier, Javier, is how much team tactics or team strategy will come into play during the race, especially at the 7-kilometer long circuit at Spa. Anyone's game, is it?
That's right. It is very, very important to be consistent. Of course, you want to not race like you're hot lapping in a race, because you can set the fastest lap time, but if you're making mistakes left, right and center, you probably will not finish the race in first.
Oh,
so it's more about consistency.
Absolutely. And also because these new sim platforms are so realistic, you have tire degradation that comes with how you drive the car, as well as track temperatures that all come into play and will affect, after all, your performance. So this is a one-make race, as you guys can all see. We have all 40 cars lined up from the start-finish line all the way up this hill and onto the curve. And the AM drivers, as you can see on the left side of the Christmas tree, I think we call it. Some of us call it. The red would be your M category drivers, whereas the white numbered would be your Pro category drivers. And all right, guys, we are now seconds away from the start of round 3. This will be their out lap, also their formation lap, and this will be a rolling start race. So this is a rather long formation lap.
Really long formation lap. 7 kilometers long, driving at a very slow speed. So you want to make sure you do not waste too much fuel on the formation lap. Of course, you don't want to heat up your tires and your brakes too early, because if you heat them up too early, they're going to cool back down again. Right. So you might want to start thinking about heating them up, maybe like sector 3 or something. So probably run the highest engine map going into sectors 1 and 2, and just start to warm up your tires and brakes in the final sector. It is a very daunting what do I call this? It looks very daunting to have all 3 GMX Phantom cars in front, all 3 orange GMX Phantom cars in front. It's almost as if
well, I think it's only daunting if you were the cars. If you're looking in your rearview mirror and you see all 3 cars in your rearview mirrors, as if you're a team member or one of the fans of GMX Phantom, for example, this would be the ideal way to start any race, and an even more ideal way to finish any race. For those of you who are watching this live, drop us comments in TikTok Live as well as YouTube Live. Let us know which race driver you are rooting for, but also let us know which team you're rooting for as well, because we would love to see the number of supporters come in to play for this round 3 of the LOR Asia Championship.
I'm sure this is going to be a very interesting race tonight. Another interesting thing I just realized, we have 2 Dafas lining up on the second row. We've got Dafa Nabil in P3 and Dafa Adiansa in P4. So 2 Dafas in the second row, followed by Fikri Seger in P5, and of course the 10-year-old Alan Drake Cruz in P6. He's lining up on the third row, classed as an M, so he is very, very fast. Aldo Balagulan is the next closest M driver. He is in P9, not too bad of a position.
No, absolutely not. I mean, your top 10 drivers are comprised of 8 pro drivers and 2 M drivers who, well, should really be in the pro category very, very soon. Maybe not yet, but I believe in a matter of maybe months, if not just within a year or two, you should be able to see them up in the pro category as well, as long as they're consistent about winning races and they start collecting all the right points.
So you did mention the Nations Cup earlier. We do have the Philippines leading. Of course, Russell Reyes doing a fantastic job in contributing to a fair bit of the points for Philippines. Alan Drake Cruz also is from the Philippines. So both of them doing a massive job in bringing points for the Philippines. Followed by Indonesia, as you can see, Presley Martono and Dafa Nabil finishing in P2 and P3 in that last round in Laguna Seca. In third in the Nations Cup, we do have Singapore, but the closest Singaporean so far is Enzo in P11. So some of these drivers to take note from Singapore is Enzo and Chua Sing Han. He is down in P16, so he does have quite a few positions to make. So I think both of these drivers will want to work together to try and bring in some points for Singapore. But of course, it is more than just the Nations Cup. You do want to fight for your own championship as well. So let's see how this race goes, because we are coming into the final sector. As you can see, the drivers are now really starting to aggressively warm up their tyres and their brakes in that final sector.
Absolutely. Now I'm just having a quick look at some of the live chat comments, and there are quite a fair bit of Phantom supporters, it seems. Once again, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 3 of the Legion of Racers Asia Championship. We are now at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, rather, and the drivers are now already lining up, getting into position as they negotiate these final sector, or rather this chicane, and move on to the very start. No bus stops.
No bus stops this time. We do have a camera already set up for Eau Rouge and Radillon. We think there is going to be quite a bit of action there.
That's right. Now we also need the race directors rather to give the green light go ahead for the race start.
So Spa is a very interesting track, because for GT racing, I think because the grid is so long, for the formation lap, they will be starting the race after turn 1. So the finish line is actually past the bus stop chicane, but the start will be right after turn 1. As you can see, we are navigating through now.
That's correct. Now, if you, as you mentioned, there's so many drivers and it's such a long circuit, but it seems like formation is in place. I think race directors will approve and allow the start. There we go, ladies and gentlemen, we have the start of the race. Green light, green flag, and the drivers are out here as they all dive into Eau Rouge. A beautiful, beautiful drive from the drivers, very clean. I don't see any contact whatsoever. 1 or 2 drivers maybe going off a little bit onto their left side, but overall, beautiful, beautiful, clean start for all the drivers.
Great start by Russell Reyes and Presley Martono as well. Russell Reyes, I think, is defending from his teammate Presley Martono. Presley Martono is on the outside. Dafa Nabil is struggling for position against Dafa Ardiansa. So the two Dafas are currently battling with each other. I think so far, not too many position changes up front. We do have an incident at that previous chicane just after the long straight, but so far it is still the GMX Phantoms that are leading. Dafa Nabil is being pressured from Dafa Ardiansa behind, so that is P3 and P4 battling with each other, but I think P1 and P2, Russell Reyes and Presley Martono, are working together as a team to try and pull away from the rest of the cars behind. So I think this is the team tactics that we were talking about earlier. You want to build that gap from the rest of the grid first. But of course, these drivers, we want to fight for their own championship as well. So, you know, how far can you bring these team tactics, right?
No, that's right. Absolutely, Javier. As you mentioned, the two Dafas are indeed battling for the 3rd position. And it will get interesting as well, because they are not alone. The battle for 4th and battle for 5th are all coming very, very close into contact with one another. Sorry, there's no contact, but all coming very close. Oh, we have a car that just ran straight into the walls. I did not see the car number there.
So unfortunately, I think that was a bit of oversteer there. I think touched the grass a little bit. The rear just seems to have snapped. So we are riding on board with Sai Prithvi. He is in P20. He is battling for position with Phillips up front in P19. This is side by side going in 2. No, they are not going side by side. Good call.
Just by a little bit. I think that would have been a bit risky, a bit of a gamble if he were to go
Oh, we are seeing a dive
that hard.
from Phillips here into the bus stop chicane, and I think he makes one position, but the other car goes for the switchback. They are side by side on the main straight. I think Phillips gets a poor run on the main straight here.
Right, he went wide a little bit, and also opportunity for Sai because now he's able to climb back up to 19th position. Now, all right, so we are still on board with Sai, who is currently in 19th place, car number 2. Okay, let's take a look at Arvind Taruna now, who is in 6th position, 1.2 seconds behind race leader Russell Reyes. Unfortunately, that would mean he will have a lot of catching up to do if he wants to get into the top 3 podium spots, which seems like it's going to be a little bit challenging. But the race is still young. We're only 3 minutes into the race, and it's never over till the drivers cross the start-finish line.
That's right, quite a great start from Arvind Taruna. Actually, he started in P8 or P9 if I remember correctly, and he is already up to P6, and we're only 3 minutes into this race, so there is still a lot to play for. I think there's a bit of action at the back. Freddie Teo has just gone off.
And I think, okay, I don't think there was any major contact because the car seems to be driving okay, a little bit wide there. But just be nerves maybe, just a line maybe, we don't know yet. We'll see how he is able to handle. Oh, it seems like there was contact indeed, and that's going to affect his entire aerodynamics. Not sure how that race is going to pan out for him. So this is a 7-kilometer racetrack, and these drivers are some of the best drivers in the entire region of Asia, especially even those drivers who are not a part of Asia as well. But nevertheless, one minor mistake or a little bit of bad luck, and sometimes that will be, well, game over for that particular driver. All right, we're now going to jump off to a quick commercial break, and we will catch up with all of you in a little while. Stay tuned.
Just go out and just do, bring life back to our lives here as well.
Tan, what was that experience like for you?
It was excellent. Yeah, I think I went really slow. Congratulations, and really much looking forward to continue to support your efforts. Thank you.
Round 4 of the TCL GT World Challenge Asia Esports Championship presented by Tarmac Works is set to get underway. There is Luis Moreno. He blasts back onto the racetrack.
Just go out and just do, bring life back to our lives here as well.
Thanks for the time. What was that experience like for you?
It was excellent. Yeah, I think I went really slow. Congratulations and really much looking forward to continue to sport the efforts. Thank you.
Round 4 of the TCL GT World Challenge Asia Esports Championship presented by Tarmac Works is set to get underway. There is Luis Moreno. He blasts back onto the racetrack.
just go out and just do, bring life back to our lives here as well.
And Zlatan, what was that experience like for you?
Oh, it's excellent. Yeah, I think I went really slow. Congratulations and really much looking forward to continue to support your efforts. Thank you.
Round 4 of the TCL GT World Challenge Asia Esports Championship presented by Tarmac Works is set to get underway. There is Luis Moreno. He blasts back onto the racetrack. Just go out and just do, bring life back to our lives here as well.
Once again, welcome back to our live stream for the 2022 Legion of Racers Asia Championship. Now, unfortunately, we once again had some technical difficulties and technical issues. I believe those of you who are in the sports sim racing community would already know what the current challenges are, so we won't go too much into details. Now, what's going to happen with the remainder of this season? All you need to do is really to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok for all the upcoming updates. Now, at this point, we would also like to thank all our title sponsor and partners such as Tarmac Works, Logitech, TikTok, Prism Plus, Aftershocks Computers,
and Motul, Monster Energy, Next Level Racing, Nitro, Picnic and Bay Dynamic. All of these sponsors have really helped us to make all of this happen.
That's right. And the sim racing community will only get stronger if we all stay together. Now, that is all for us from this live stream. Once again, we really apologize for having to cut this short. And also, on behalf of everyone here at the Legion of Racers, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Hong.
And my name is Javier.
And we'll see you guys really, really soon. Take care. Bye-bye.